This is Tone from the 757 Spin number 2, back to y'all with another video. And today I'm gonna be talking about the LA Lakers in this current basketball season. In this current basketball season, the Lakers did horrible. They finished with a record of 33-49 and finished with the 11th seed, just out of the reach of the 10th and 9th seed with the New Orleans Pelicans and the San Antonio Spurs. Let me start with number one. You just heard about the Frank Vogel was fired, and let's just be honest. He's not a Phil Jackson. He's not Pat Riley. This is just a guy he's a good head coach. He's gonna get another head coaching job, but I just don't think he was the right fit for that locker room. That locker room, you heard that guys were texting on their phone, and it just seemed like a lack of respect for a guy like a Frank Vogel. And Frank Vogel, man, he just had a tough time. He was put in a tough situation, especially with the roster moves that the Lakers did. Buddy Hield or Russell Westbrook was the biggest obstacle for them coming into that offseason, and they picked Russell Westbrook. I wouldn't say Buddy Hield would have brought a championship, but in terms of fit, Buddy Hield was a better fit in terms of shooting. Think about when the Lakers won that bubble championship. They were shooting and defense that brought them that championship. Russell Westbrook, he's a playmaker, and he's an athlete. He's probably one of the best athletes in the game. But in terms of shooting around around LeBron, to build a team around LeBron, you need shooting and you need the guys who play defense. And Russell Westbrook doesn't play defense, nor can he shoot the ball very well. So that was just a big obstacle to overcome for somebody like a Frank Vogel. He benched Russell Westbrook, and he lost Russell Westbrook for the remainder of the season. And you heard comments about Russell Westbrook said, he said, I don't know what his problem was with me. And I think Frank Vogel was just put in a tough situation, and I think he was put in a hot seat, and he was the scapegoat of that situation, which was unfortunate. But you just knew it was going to come. It was just a matter of time. Secondly, the Russell Westbrook trade, it didn't pan out. Let's just be honest. He wasn't a good fit for what the Lakers needed. The Lakers needed shooting, and I understand why the Lakers did it. He's a superstar. He was just coming off a triple double season, but playing with LeBron James, it could be a tough fit for somebody who needs the ball in his hands. He's a guy who he has a big personality to me, and he's a great player. But just in terms of just fit of playing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, those are three guys who LeBron can shoot a little bit. Anthony Davis, his shooting has went down this season. Those are guys who are non-shooters to me, and you're bringing a guy who can't shoot the ball. It was just a tough fit for him. It was just not enough spacing in that starting lineup. And that was also a key issue for the Lakers. They never had a consistent starting lineup. They had a lot of different guys, and that's just a big problem. You can't get a consistent lineup. You're never going to have consistency in that lineup in a different play in terms of playing style and a playing style that you want to play with. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they couldn't stay healthy this season, especially Anthony Davis. He went down with the foot sprain. It just seemed like he can't stay healthy since he's been it's his time in LA. In LA last year he missed 15 games, and then this season he missed over 20 games. So that's big for the Lakers. With the healthy Anthony Davis, to me, he's a big difference in terms of when he's healthy and he's actually had the consistent effort. And I think that's my biggest problem with the Anthony Davis, the effort that he spends on the court. I think he's too much of a aloof on the court. This guy, he was traded from New Orleans to LA because they were thinking they were getting a guy who can be the primary option, not the number two option, but the primary option. Especially LeBron coming into his 19th season, they're looking for him to take over. LeBron, even though he averaged 30 points per game, which is impressive for his 19th season, he can't carry the team on his shoulders like he used to. This is not a young LeBron or in his mid-30s LeBron. This is LeBron almost going on 40. And it's just tough to ask him to do so much with a roster that's just not good enough. Even though LeBron did have a big influence of getting Russell Westbrook, which was to me was a big mistake by him. They had a chance of going after DeMar DeRozan. They could have had DeMar DeRozan and Buddy Hield. DeMar DeRozan in free agency, and also they could have had Buddy Hield off a trade, and we don't know what that team could have been with a DeMar DeRozan and Buddy Hield. and this team just is lacking heart right now, especially, and it's just confusing. The dysfunction that they have in LA right now is crazy. You got Kurt Rambis running things behind the shadows, Genie Bus, and you have Rob Pelinka right now, who and reports heard that he was gonna get along with Frank Vogel, and Frank Vogel always had him watching over his shoulders. So it's just a tough situation right now for the LA. Now you're hearing rumors that LeBron James will be ecstatic to have somebody like a Mark Jackson coaching the team. But I was wondering, why would a Mark Jackson come to this team? What would make Mark Jackson come to this team with that much dysfunction? He he built that Golden State culture. He built Steph Curry and Draymond to be the best versions of themselves. So it just wouldn't make sense for him to come to a LA team and try to change that culture where that culture is probably already set. A lot of guys are set in these ways. These are old veteran guys. Even though they would probably respect somebody like a Mark Jackson, I think Mark Jackson's big problem wouldn't be probably in the locker room because he's a former player, and I see him probably getting along with a lot of these current NBA players, and a lot of current NBA players do have respect for him. I think his problem would be with LA management. I don't see how he avoids them, especially Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis, who have major influences in that organization right now. And it seems like it's a power struggle between LeBron James, um, Rob Pelinka, and Jeannie Buss right now. It just seems like what is the options they have? And I think options coming into the season, into the off season, is looking and trying to move off of the Russell Westbrook contract, which is going to be difficult. They're probably going to have to. A lot of teams are going to be coming and knowing that they want to move him, coming for those draft picks. So it just wouldn't make sense for other teams to just take a Russell Westbrook contract unless they're getting something out of it. And the Lakers don't have a first round draft pick until 2027, but the Lakers have never been built off of first round picks. They've been built off of grabbing the superstars from other teams, and that's what they're trying to look back into. But just moving that contract is just going to be very difficult. And also another thing that we got to look at is moving on with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis right now, he's struggling right now. He can't stay healthy, so it's just going to be interesting to see if Anthony Davis can bounce back next season. But you got to keep your options open. If you can't stay healthy, get what you can the most out of him right now, because you just don't know what you're going to get out of Anthony Davis. He's too fragile. He wants to stay in LA, and I understand that. But you gotta he got to give the production. If we just take out those the seasons he's been in LA, except for the bubble year, I haven't seen the consistency out of Anthony Davis that most players or most people expect out of Anthony Davis, and it's just going to be fascinating what they do with him. I do think you can win a championship with Anthony Davis, but it's just a matter of who they put the pieces around them. They have no first round picks. They have very little draft. They have very little draft capital. Like I said, very few trade options. They're probably going to have to give a Russell Westbrook. They are going to try to get rid of Russell Westbrook, but what are they going to get in return? This roster was just old. It was slow. It lacked the youth. The only youth they had was Taylor Horton-Tucker, who to me didn't have a great season. Took a step back. He was injured at the beginning of the season, which was a huge blow. They never got Kendrick back. Kendrick Nunn didn't even step on the court with them, and I thought he could play a big difference. I think that was a big difference to me with the Lakers. They were never fully healthy. A lot of guys were injured, and even LeBron in his exit interview said injuries did play a key role, and I do agree. Injuries did play a key role. I do think the Lakers would have at least made the playoffs. I want to know if they would have made won the championship, but they would definitely made the playoffs, but that ain't developed. The team just couldn't stay healthy. It was old, and a lot of guys to me were just past their prime, and they weren't even in their twilight years anymore. I just think guys, it was just too old, man. And a lot of teams that you see in the NBA playoffs right now, they're young. Look at the teams: the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Suns. They're young. They're young, and that's the Lakers lacked young talent. So it's just going to be interesting to see how they rebuild. Give me your thoughts and your comments. What do you think the Lakers should do, and what options they have? Just let me know. Like, subscribe, tune out. Thank you.